Hey guys, what's going on? So, as you might imagine, I have been playing a large quantity of Blooming Dash Blade Dancer. A lot. A whole lot. Just all... there was some Royal Trials in there, or what is it, Rush for Glory right now. But yep, just all day. All day I've just been grinding away. And it took me to 9k trophy, or what is this, 8k trophies? It took me to champion. I have been playing the Enchant Sword version, and I switched to this. And ironically, this is what I used to play, but it's not how I used to play it. So originally, I used to play Growth Tile. Obviously, the Gunslinger was a Portal Keeper, but originally I used to play Growth Tile, and I'm now running Amulet of Swiftness. I'm attempting to get an Epic. So I have a rare here, and then I'm just going, after I make this a 10, I'm going to re-roll for, because I haven't gotten any Amulet of Swiftnesses, so once I make that a rare, or once I get that to 10, I'm just gonna start, like, every single ounce of my amulets, I'm just gonna start making amulets to get 2 commons, to make a rare, to get that to epic, to get this to legendary, because this is now becoming, like, the better version of something to do, especially if you're gonna use as many tiles as you're using in this deck. And having them in wacky places also helps, as opposed to using Growth Tile. I'm using Spear, Gadget, and then Mage Robes. Gunslinger, I got to 9. I'm using Mariachi, and then this is my Talons. So originally, when I had the ability to cleanse with the Portal Keeper, you would obviously run Fencing with Giants. Elegant Parry, because they added the 50% chance to remove effects when you move her, it made it a lot better. And now, because you have to cleanse, because you're not running Portal Keeper, it's also a lot better. The cleanse on it is insane. I'm going to go into that. I do have double counterspells, and then obviously I'm going to attempt to re-roll a counterspell on this, but Abundance is actually very good as well. Part of me wonders if I should just keep the Abundance, and then it's just Trapper, and then Scrapper, Scrap 'em All, Promotion, Acrid Waste, and then Night Statue, I'm actually running Sharpened Spear, Barrier, and then Stone Legion. The build that I decided to do is essentially a Floral Frenzy build. The new school Sharpened Frenzy Floral Frenzy build. That is the build that I'm actually creating, and that's what you want. That's where you want all of your units. So it's essentially that build, but it's a Blooming Dash Blade Dancer deck, and this fixed so many of my problems. When I used to play this with Dryad, and I used to play it with Growth Tile, the thing that I would do is I would just place my Night Statue, my Sharpened Spear Night Statue, where the Night Statue would hit the most amount of tiles, and then you would just place it there, and then just build, and then leave one space open, and then you would use that to hopefully get new stacks, like new Sharpened Spear stacks. Playing this the Floral Frenzy way, but just using it as a Sharpened, or as a Blooming Dash deck, it fixes the problem of not being able to efficiently get stacks on a Night Statue, but it also fixes, and maybe this is just a me thing, but it fixes you grouping up all of your Blade Dancers together and them never going off of cooldown, and you moving one and then resetting all of them. When you set it up like this, essentially what you're doing is no Blade Dancer is actually touching any other Blade Dancer. And so what happens is you have the ability to very efficiently get stacks throughout the course of the game without missing a beat, because you can't. You can't afford to miss a beat. As this game progresses, you're gonna see how it gets, like, really crazy pretty fast. There was a point where I was trying to get an extra Blade Dancer. So the amount that you run is one less than full board. So normally the setup is 3, 2, 3. And so what is that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You would be running 7. I believe I'm running 6. Because in that last spot where the other, or 3, 6, 8, you would be 3, 2, 3. So instead of running 8, you run 7, and in that 8th spot is your gunslinger. So you're constantly moving a Blade Dancer to a spot that is being affected by the Knight statue. And so again, it just fixes, and then you essentially do the exact same thing that you would do in a Sharpened Frenzy deck. You have the 2 Knight statues in the 2 corners. You bounce off the opposite 2 corners, and then you just play. You always try to hit the 2, because you can move the gunslinger twice. Always move it twice. If you think that you're going to, once you hit a boss, your cooldown on your gunslinger should go away, at which point then you have the ability to actively do a ghost shot on the boss, and that's how you will get the defense down and the slow and all the effects. And so you'll never not be able to do that. So you don't have to rely on moving a unit with the gunslinger if it's on cooldown. You don't have to worry about that because you can activate the ability and it does it anyway. The other thing to note is that if you get your gunslinger to 7 first, by trying to manually upgrade it, what you can do, which I didn't do right there, but that was a prime example of what you could do. When your gunslinger is at level 7, and if you do that very early on in the game, whenever your gunslinger is going to get upgraded with your scrapper hits, you can then move something that you want to upgrade. And thereby, like, it just becomes like, it's almost like it's not like having a Zeus, but it's almost like having a Zeus. You have the ability to just always upgrade something useful. Or at the very least, it's just one extra unit that you can just constantly upgrade other units with. I don't think I ever successfully do it, but I'm just saying that that's something that you should definitely do. So right here, I get a gold tile on the left side, and I thought that I was going to leave it there. I thought that I was going to leave that, the Blade Dancer there, but in all honesty, the deck doesn't have the space for it. You can try it, but I think that having 2 trappers is very important, because you need at least 2. You're obviously going to place them in the middle like you would for a Sharpened Frenzy setup, because those are the spots that you don't want your Blade Dancers in anyway. But what ends up happening is if you have all 3 spots filled, you tend to get too many scrappers, and you always want to have an acrid waste available. You always want to eat something so that you have the scrap-em-all 20% available. And so what ends up happening is if you try to have an extra Blade Dancer, like just in that center spot, like because it's on a gold tile, you just run out of space too quickly. What you want are 2 trappers, the 7 Blade Dancers, and in the last spot, your gunslinger. This deck does very well. Like, I will say it in every single video that I decide to post about this, and there's a lot of videos coming. I'm not saying that I've made those videos. I'm just saying, like, this deck is so fun because I've always liked this deck. It's my favorite deck in the game to play, and I knew that I could not play it because the way that Portal Keeper works is that if you had a level 7 Portal Keeper, everything would need to be level 7 for you to move it. And you couldn't, with a Scrapper, you couldn't control your merge ranks. And then with a Dryad, it was too hard to get beyond 5. Because you were trying to Dryad your way to, like, all the way to 7, but you were trying to do it on this amount of units, and it was just impossible. The Santa talent that they released last Christmas is something that I've been, like, begging for, like, just in my head, begging for so long. And now that we have this in the game, it's everything that I could ever hope for. I remember when Gunslinger was announced and I realized what it did, that it had the ability to move things of its value or less. And as soon as I realized that, I was so excited to get this unit. This is a level 9 version, and I only have Mariachi, and like, when you get the second one allows you to get 20% more mana every time you kill stuff with the Gunslinger, when they're affected by everything. And then the 13 talent, it's going to either use, it's either going to give a flicker amount of area 15% increased attack speed, but more importantly, probably, Ghost Link. Ghost Link is when a single target thing is dealing damage to the front thing, it is going to deal 5% to everything else as well. It's pretty crazy, and the way that like, when you use Ghost Shot during a wave, and when you add like the fact that you have Dance of the Wind as well, you just like obliterate waves so incredibly well with this deck. There are so many games that I think that I'm going to lose because my the wave is all the way to the end of the thing, and I end up not losing it because it just obliterates the entire wave, kills the boss, kills everything. I can't express to you how good this deck is right now. I know that everybody is all about the Genie Scrapper Magic Sultanate Prison deck, and that is probably the best deck right now, but I really like this, and I think that this is, at least for now, this is the best build that I think exists. If you want to be like really, if you can, and if you have the mental strength for it, it's possible that a Sharpened Spear with a growth tile and playing it the original way might be better because you're getting the 40% or the 60% on your growth tiles. But I think ease of use and power, I like this. You're gaining so many stacks on your Knight statue. You're gaining, because you're just constantly doing it. It's very easy to see which Blade Dancers you need to move, and so you're constantly building stacks very efficiently. I think it just does everything that you want this deck to do. I'm at, like, we're at Death Wave, and I have 55 Blade Dancer stacks. I have 20 Knight Statue stacks. Knight Statue stacks end at like 30. And then become significantly worse after that. So once I get to 30, that's pretty much it. But yeah, in the case that you were wondering how well does the Elegant Parry do versus Toxic, you're gonna get 2 gameplays today, because I was going to quit a game. And I play it the exact same way. I think I'm using a Chemist as opposed to a Trapper, but I'm basically playing the exact same build. The exact same build and the exact same strategy against a Toxic deck, and I still win, and because it's that good. The cleanse is so efficient. When something is burning like that, by the way, always if you get a Blazing Burn, the red guy, if you move it with the Gunslinger, it cleanses it, because whenever something is being used, when it is being burned, you can cleanse it by using that thing. The same thing worked with Harlequin. Like, if your Harlequin was being burned, you could copy something and then it stops it. It's not like a Shaman. And so with this deck specifically, if anything gets Blazing Burn, you can move it and then it'll cleanse it. Something that I wouldn't recommend is, if your Knight Statue or your Trapper get Blazing Burn, don't move those. It will take you too long to move it back and to get back on track. Just let it burn, let it be, like, it's fine if it like loses a rank. You can't, like right there. you can't allow it losing a rank for you to stop your flow. And like the deck just like once you start going into like the 3-minute range, it starts to get really crazy, especially when all of your Blade Dancers go off cooldown, and they're all like non-active. So like right here, you just have to constantly be on your Blade Dancers. Right here, the center gets burned, but my cleanse saves it. And if it saved it or didn't, I honestly don't care, because I have like my own objective. Everything in the center, I just want to eat all the time because my entire field is set up. And then the one scrapper on the right that I have in that extra spot is my ditch scrapper. What you're doing is whenever you accidentally summon in a new scrapper, you're going to ditch it to the right, and then you're just going to constantly want to hit your scrapper button so that stays either a 1 or nothing. So like right here, you ditch it to the side, and then you rank it down at some point when stuff stops being crazy. I lost a trapper right there on the side, and instead of moving it, I'd rather just summon in a new one, which is exactly what happens. Right here, I still haven't leveled down the scrapper. Now I've realized that I haven't, and that puts me a little bit further behind. I could have hit that scrapper button at any point, but again, once you start getting into the 3 minutes, decisions start to become, like, there's so many things that you're trying to think about. But I end the game with 94 stacks, and I feel like I've never played games where I get to more than, like, I don't know, maybe 50 stacks. Usually games end, and that game I was able to very efficiently get to 94 stacks. I play this the exact same way. I don't adjust because I'm playing Toxic. I just play the game the exact same way, and I just had to really trust that the elegant parry was going to keep saving me, and it does. I actually get puppeteered in this game, and that is problematic, but because I have Gunslinger and you have the ability to move anything anywhere, eventually I got back on track, and Sea Dog just in general is not a damage dealing deck. If it can't lock you out, and if you keep cleansing efficiently, then you just win. With Gunslinger being an attacking unit, with your Knight Statue being an attacking unit, with your Blade Dancer being an attacking unit, it's very hard for a Toxic deck to lock you out. You just have too many things on the field that can obliterate like an entire wave very early on. Not late game, but usually you will not be getting to late game. And because Sea Dog decks stopped using... Oh, I guess he's using both. He's using Cursed Treasure and Explosive Surprises. So he's actually using both Toxic abilities, and it's still not good enough because Sea Dog isn't that great anymore. I'm actually, as a side project, trying to build a Toxic deck, and I was trying to get Sea Dogs, and a lot of people just run Minotaur now because it's an automatic stun, and the automatic stun, just when it comes into play, is just better than using a Sea Dog and having to merge. I think that Sea Dog does more damage, ultimately, because it has the ability to just keep gaining stacks, but I think that the nerf to Sea Dog is just so prevalent on both of its Toxic stats that it's probably not better than just stunning 3 units just because. Just auto-stunning 3 units. But yeah, like, even with the mana lockout, it doesn't matter. I have the singular chemist, and that's all I basically need. This puppeteer is gonna, like, obviously, like I said, it's gonna move me because I have so many things on my field that are getting witched right now. It's not even the freeze, it's more so the witch. The gadget is also very clutch because it also deals damage as well early on. And when the toxic deck's trying to lock you out early, if you get your gadget, like, you can just gadget the entire wave away. So he sends like a bunch of witches at me, and I'm not able to take down a 6 million puppeteer. But again, with Gunslinger, you can just fix your entire board. I don't understand how some people are trying to sleep on Gunslinger, that it's not that great, that it's just a support card. It's the best support card. And I'm not even talking about just for this deck. It's a great support card for every deck. Being able to move your entire field to wherever you want it to be is crazy. I've seen people use it with at high level with a Zeus, and what you can do is move what you want onto a Zeus tile, and then with your Gunslinger, move it off, and then move something else onto your Zeus tile, and continue leveling up. It's crazy. In any regard of, like, if you're going to use a Trapper, use a Gunslinger. If you're going to use a Chemist, use a Gunslinger. It just does everything that you want a support card to do, including the reason why you would run a Harlequin, which is fixing your field as fast as you can. It also does that as well. And in the case of this, I just refixed my entire field. It's Gunslinger, it's one of the best support cards, if not the best support card. Now that they've nerfed Witch, I think it's the best support card. And it should be used in like every deck. And I think that a deck that doesn't have Gunslinger, like when Scrapper got Talons, I think that if your deck doesn't have Gunslinger, you're at a significant disadvantage. The amount of things that it does, it's just crazy. The wave control, the defense reduction, fixing your field, the slow. It's like, what does it not do? The level 9 talent is the crit damage against the target by 20%. But yeah, it's pretty good. This Blooming Dash Blade Dancer is back, baby. I'll catch you guys next video.